Right now, unprecedented numbers of Americans are returning to a practice of our self-reliant and independent forefathers, that of storing supplies of food. The events and circumstances we're facing here in America are so unfamiliar to most of us, but yet so serious that we each must wisely choose how we will face our future. History has proven over and over again that food is the beginning solution to almost every major problem, particularly those involving independence, freedom, security, and yes, even survival. Whether you agree with the following reasons that people are putting in supplies of food or not, food always has been, is now, and forever will be the greatest dependence, as well as the most comforting source of safety and security for every human being on our planet. Here are the reasons people are storing food for your consideration. 1 in 6 Americans presently worry about getting food daily. Runaway inflation in Germany and Argentina. When they followed the same inflationary path that the U.S. is presently on, the price of a loaf of bread doubled daily until it cost billions of the country's currency units. The national ID card is expected by many to be a requirement to even buy food. Christians searching the book of Revelations believe that for about half the 7-year tribulation, or 3.5 years, no one will be able to buy or sell without the mark. Most consider this to be the ID microchip or the ID card. Global warming, whether real or fabricated, will likely be used to control fertilization of crops, taxation of farmers, and some plans even control how much and what foods we could buy. Legislation is being proposed that would prevent people from gardening and mandate what farmers could grow and how they'd go about growing it. To plant gardens for hard times is good counsel, if you can, but the majority of our population has no place or time to plant them. A doomsday seed vault is being built in Norway with the intent of being the only source for seed to grow food worldwide. The message from Afghanistan and Iraq is that if the food is not centralized and people have their own little supplies, it makes no difference how many guns are against them. They're hard to beat. If during quarantines, martial law, disasters, and emergencies, people don't have their own individual supplies, they'll be dependent and helpless, like the miserable conditions after Hurricane Katrina. On the issue of guns in the possession of the people, food, or the lack of it, has always been used to take the protection of guns away from the people. For example, Cuba, China, Germany, etc., etc., etc. Imported food from countries with no safety standards for insecticides, fertilizers, bacterial and chemical contamination have entered our country's food supply and have proven to be very dangerous. Job loss and illness are hugely reduced in their impact financially and emotionally with a strong savings account of food. A food supply can be used to help your neighbor, family members, or anyone in need. Storms and weather, as we have seen, make food impossible to transport, destroy crops, and isolate people from supplies. The year 2012 and the anticipated global changes are of concern to many for possible food shortages and survival issues. And finally, from our perspective in supplying you with food to use and to store, serious American crop failures are creating shortages of food to be processed into supplies for people to store. Even though these shortages have not appeared in the grocery stores, as soon as we become dependent on the 2009 crop, everyone will be affected. So there you have it. Oddly enough, even though our function for almost 30 years has been to pack and ship food to you, our greatest challenge and concern is exactly the same as yours. How long will we be able to get the raw materials that we use to prepare your food? And our answer is the same as yours, and that is to get in as many supplies of raw materials as we possibly can, as quickly as we can.